even though we love, what we do, it's still like, why are we doing this? There are times that we get, or we're working hard and we got 20 projects going and we're putting out fires along the way. And it's like, why are we doing this? Is all we're doing. You know what I mean? So then we have to readjust and reevaluate. And I think you kind of have to constantly do that. As well as maybe have people in your immediate circle that do something different than what you do, to have, an eye on, how other people that aren't small business owners live, and how, other people spend their time. And again, sort of having a reality check as far as like, why are we doing this? Is this still more worthwhile than just going and working for someone else? You know what I mean? Or are there aspects that make it worth it? And I think if you don't constantly reevaluate and kind of reclaim your time for your family or for yourself or whatever, then it's like, why are we doing it?
And every time we've reevaluated, it's come out good and equal. So we keep doing it.
Craft Your Life is a radio show for the tenacious, the bold, and those who refuse to settle for mediocrity. We bring together visionaries, game changers, and relentless go-getters who are crafting their lives, businesses, and relations in pursuit of excellence. If you are ready to shatter limits, embrace the amazing, and live life on your own terms, this show is for you. Each episode delivers actionable insights, inspiring stories, and unfiltered conversations that will ignite your drive to win a life worth dying for. Tune in and get ready to live viciously. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Craft Your Life radio show. I'm your host, Matt Kuehlhorn. Today, we're going to deep dive into the minds of bold entrepreneurs, creatives, and game changers who are crafting their own paths in life and business. We're sitting down with Aaron and Jacintah, the powerhouse duo behind Calamity Jane Tattoo in Grand Junction, Colorado, known for their exceptional artistry, relentless commitment to quality, and a deep respect for the craft. They've built a reputation for delivering not just ink, but stories, self-expression, and damn good experiences. Aaron and Jacintah, welcome.
Hi.
Great to meet you.
Yeah. Tell us real quick. You've got a cool background. I see the bookcase in there. Where are you beaming in from? Where are you at right now?
No, just our house. We live behind Lincoln Park in Grand Junction.
Awesome. I love that. And since it's the way we start here, tell us, where did you grow up? Are you local here? You come from somewhere else?
I grew up in Weston, Maryland, and moved here in 2012.
And I grew up in North Dakota, up really close to Canada, and I moved here in 2000.
Amazing.
Sorry if you hear our dog drinking behind us.
What brought you to Grand Junction?
Mine was it was simply family. I was young at the time, and I came with my family. It's a very kind of adult story.
Copy that.
For me, I was sort of on an extended road trip after I had finished my tattoo apprenticeship, and was stopping here to work for Jane, who had founded the shop that we now work at. And a stopover ended up being a longer trip, and here we are now 13 years later. Yeah,
a
lot of good changes.
Yeah, very cool. Give us a little context. So how did we get into, and let me clarify, are both of you tattoo artists, or is one a tattoo artist?
I tattoo.
And I pierce.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Now I've had piercings, I've had ink work done, so I kind of know what it's like to be in the chair, but how does one get on the other side? What's the apprenticeship look like for both of these?
For me, it started out similar, probably experience to yours, was in the chair and just wanting to get tattooed as much as I possibly could. And being young and persistent, I just asked at every opportunity I had if they needed any help, and finally got lucky and got handed a broom, and started helping out there and made myself useful at a young age, and just sort of got into the right place at the right time, sort of. And persistence, I guess, is the main thing.
Yeah.
There's probably similar experience for you.
Similar with me, the whole 2-year apprenticeship, cleaning the bathrooms, doing all the dirty work, front counter work, and that's the most important part of the. But I hope you take that out.
Well, I think the willingness to do that stuff, I mean, kind of is what shows that somebody's in it for the long haul, some people think it's all going to be fun stuff and all doing art, but
It's
just
not all
like
fun.
any business, it's if you don't keep the bathrooms clean and do the other just routine stuff that a lot of people don't think of when they just see it from the client side. Especially when it's well done, they don't see the behind the scenes stuff so much.
And if you think about it, I mean, they're the face. Our counter people are our face of our business. So
Absolutely. And yeah, you kind of made light of it a little bit, but Jacinta, that um, opportunity to apprentice, I mean, even if it's like not the super fun, glossy work, right? Like it's scrubbing, but it's being around in the environment. And how important is or was that apprenticeship to kind of shaping the profession?
for me, starting at the ground, starting at the bottom, that was very important. It taught me, I always had really good work ethic. I grew up on a farm, in North Dakota, and yeah, I did farm work, but uh, knowing you don't deserve everything right away. You really don't. You have to
Mm,
work for it. You have to put in the time. You have to put in the energy. Um, it's not just going to come to you. That's for sure.
I think that some people might have the perception too that it's just about paying dues, but it's more about just preparing somebody for the slow winters or whatever, the other side of things that aren't so glamorous, that if the
mm,
door was open for everybody to come into it that just wanted to do the fun stuff, then the profession would look a lot different than, you know, than it looks, when it's done properly and when somebody has, proper sort of mentorship and will give them a full and honest experience of what to expect, when you're going to be doing it after it's not fun or, or when it becomes work or in those times when it's not fun or becomes work, I guess I should say. Um, yeah. Or it's only the people that are going to keep showing up, whether or not the work is there, that either, are going to be doing it no matter what, are the ones that are really set up for success in the long term.
Yeah,
Uh,
and they're waiting for someone to come in the door, waiting for somebody to call.
So it wouldn't be necessarily doing anybody any favors to make it easier, or to not prepare them for the other just realistic sides of being an independent contractor and a business owner, which
yeah.
every artist that does it for a living is, a small business owner in a way.
Yep. Yep. I agree. Okay. What I have a strong curiosity and um so again, like hopefully I made the context. Like I am very ignorant when it comes to ink and piercings. However, my imagination goes down the road to like some really deep rooted um symbolism and maybe even rites of passages. Like at the root of piercings and ink, like we've been doing this as humans for a long, long time. In your journey, have you gone to like understanding some of those roots and where does some of the, I don't know, whether it's desire or storytelling, like it's not just like I'm on spring break, I'm gonna go get inked up or whatever. Like there's something deeper in in the art.
Sometimes there is.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it is just that somebody's on spring break
Yeah.
and it's just about having the fun experience or
Yeah.
getting a souvenir. And
Fair,
that's a
fair.
version of what tattooing can be to some people. But I
Yep.
mean, you're right. There is something deeper to it for a lot of people. And there's a side of it that has become sort of more fashionable and, more trendy versus even 10, 15 plus years ago. It was more sort of, an outsider thing in that, people weren't necessarily doing it so much to be included, or if they were, is included in smaller groups instead of like, I remember in around the 2000s, it wasn't until the mid to later 2000s that you started seeing people that could look like, models otherwise, like good-looking people in tattoo magazines, because prior to that, it was more about just the tattoo work. And then, yeah, it became more and more mainstream, and TV shows got involved and all this other stuff. But there's still a part of it, no matter how mainstream it becomes, that people are doing it for a sort of rite of passage sort of thing, which is definitely evidenced in, 50% of our clients probably are 18 to 25. So just that group of people going through that time in their lives and finding identity, I think, is a big part of it. Yeah. But everybody has different motivations, and the main trends that I've noticed is that in times of change, people get tattooed, other than the souvenirs and the fun experience just out in a wild time with your friends. The other ones are in times of change, whether it's good change and it's by choice, like somebody gets married, or if it's bad change and out of their control, like somebody dies. But yeah, when people are going through changes in their life is when they're getting tattooed, other than the having a fun time, getting a souvenir type thing.
And piercing can be very self-affirming too. And not just tattoos, but piercing too. It has a deep root, and like it just it can even go so far as being gender affirming for some people if you want to get far into it.
Yeah, great perspectives. What's it been like growing Calamity Jane here in Grand Junction? What's the journey been like for you?
Ooh.
It never ends with any business.
It never ends. It's always
Yeah, if it's not something that you're sort of driven by and you'd be doing anyway, and you nerd out on aspects of, at least some of them, then yeah, that's been our experience, is always kind of just pushing to do better and continue to improve, and about the experience of enjoying the process too. I think that shows in whether you're doing garage doors or tattoos or piercings. If somebody deeply dislikes their job or is strictly doing it for the money, you can tell at some point, even if they're doing great work, there's usually going to be something about the experience that, you can tell. But when it comes to home builders, I've talked to people that say they want the person that's super into cabinets doing their cabinet. It's true with any trade.
Totally.
So yeah, we've enjoyed the experience, and yeah, it's we love the process of doing it. I think our clients can notice that.
Yeah. Has it been easy in GJ? Like,
no. There's a really fine line in Junction when it comes to income. I hope I put this the right way and don't offend anybody, but there's an abrupt line. There's people who can't afford it at all, and then there's people who can afford the best of the best at any time.
Yeah.
And finding that median, I think we've found that.
I was gonna say there's not the median, if you look at the statistics, it seems like the median income is almost like misleading, because there are people that make much more than that, and then there are people that make much less than that. And there's not a whole lot of people that are like sort of in the middle where we feel like kind of we are,
Yeah.
But
I
so
see
it is
that too
definitely
with
a
our
unique
customer base.
experience. It's a bit of a fishbowl type thing because we're geographically isolated here, which is both a negative to some people that might feel kind of stuck here if they don't have the finances or means to make that far move. The next closest place is Denver, and you don't want to just move to the default. Like, you basically have to move cross country if you're going anywhere. So that can be prohibitive. At the same time, as far as business owners, it's great because everyone for a 300-mile radius comes here once or twice a month for their Sam's Club or Walmart trips. So we've had clients that were regulars that, we'd see somebody in their family once every 2 or 3 months, because every trip to Junction, somebody was getting a tattoo or piercing. The biggest VA, in between Denver and Salt Lake's here. And it's just, you can't avoid Junction from the whole area. So it's a magnet for people that need services of all sort here.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, this is Luke from Cooler Garage Doors. Just want to take a quick second to talk about our sponsor, Sommer Garage Door Openers. In our opinion, Sommers are the highest quality product on the market today. We recommend them for all of our residential garage door installs because of the variety of features they include. such as Wi-Fi connectivity and safety features such as a fixed chain, which moves along a secure rail to ensure your garage door opens quietly and safely. Click on the link in the description to learn more about Sommer garage door openers.
So you kind of alluded to this a little bit, Aaron, when you were talking about, just the trajectory of ink and piercings, kind of moving into some of the mainstream. Like I think of it as still a little bit of counterculture in some ways, but it's being adopted more and more, and it's more commonplace. But where I'm going with kind of this curiosity is, so being business owners, in this business, in this industry, being parents, I mean, obviously being invested in the community, like how do you find the quote unquote balance in how you move through life?
Each
How
other.
that, yeah.
Yeah, that's a must.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just honestly, keeping our daughter first. Our family comes first. Our daughter
Yeah.
goes first over the business,
Sure.
it always, always.
Right.
And that's never led us wrong.
Yeah. Even though we love, what we do, it's still like, why are we doing this? There are times that we get, or we're working hard and we got 20 projects going and we're putting out fires along the way. And it's like, why are we doing this? Is all we're doing. You know what I mean? So then we have to readjust and reevaluate. And I think you kind of have to constantly do that. As well as maybe have people in your immediate circle that do something different than what you do, to have, an eye on, how other people that aren't small business owners live, and how, other people spend their time. And again, sort of having a reality check as far as like, why are we doing this? Is this still more worthwhile than just going and working for someone else? You know what I mean? Or are there aspects that make it worth it? And I think if you don't constantly reevaluate and kind of reclaim your time for your family or for yourself or whatever, then it's like, why are we doing it?
And every time we've reevaluated, it's come out good and equal. So we keep
Mhm.
doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. So having that solid partnership, like that's a superpower unlock into just navigating whatever is being tossed at you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think in anything, having somebody who's got your back is irreplaceable.
Yeah, it's everything. How would you define? How would you answer that question that you brought up? Like, what's the why behind Calamity Jane's?
I mean, while we're there doing quality work, I mean, is the main thing. And again, enjoying the process of the work that we do. I mean, for us personally, the why is, again, our family and, a means to,
We love it.
yeah. Exactly. It's just what we'd be doing anyway, and what we've been doing in times that, it didn't necessarily make financial sense. And yeah, now that it does, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, he talks about those times when it didn't make financial sense, when, we didn't have a client in our shop, when it was small before our expansion, the hard days. We had a lot of those. But it got us stronger and ready to handle what was coming ahead.
Yeah, I love that. What do you see for the next 3, 5+ years? What are we excited about?
Maybe another expansion.
Yeah. Hopefully staying in the same location, but just getting bigger. Yeah.
Bigger.
Yeah.
Having more people that we work with. That I think that's been one of the coolest thing over the last sort of 5-year chapter is having steady other people that, we work with, and that we can, trust and be able to share the business with, and not having to do it all ourselves.
Yeah.
Because that is a real double-edged sword sometimes, when there's so much business coming in that, again, as a business owner, you can't really, in good conscience, really like shoo it away, but at the same time, you have to, it's like, well, why are we doing this? We gotta have a life outside of it too.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
we've been very fortunate to work with who our artists are at the shop and our counter help.
Yeah. For me personally, I'm looking forward to taking both weekend days off, because as a tattoo artist
Weekends.
or a piercer, it's really hard to get away from not working Saturdays
Mm-hmm.
and or Sundays, because those are our busiest days, you know.
I
But
get that.
getting to a point in my career where I'm steady enough and stable enough and have a clientele where I can just work Monday to Friday is the next move, I think.
I love that. It's good vision. Okay. Some kind of tactical questions. What would you say to somebody that might be listening right now and maybe they never had a piercing, never had a tattoo, but now they're curious? What would you say to like either the permanency of either or just what to know for somebody that's never sat in a chair?
I say do it. That I say do it. um, and do your research. Find people with good reviews. Find the shop with good reviews, and word of mouth. And know what you want. That always helps. Knowing what you want. You can also come into our shop not knowing at all what you want, and we will help you.
Yeah, to the point of just do it. Some people want to be at the point of feeling certain, either about the permanence of it or at any aspect of it, which is almost impossible for your first time going into it. It kind of feels like being the little kid at the big water slide for the first time. Is the identical feeling to what I could compare it to getting tattooed or pierced for the first time. That sort of fear of the unknown. But then when you do it and you go for it, especially when you've seen other people do it, then you're always proud of yourself and glad you did, and all those things come together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Do you have favorite pieces of work that are walking around? Like, do you recall every piece that you've ever worked on, or are there, highlights that are like, yeah,
I
that's it.
recognize every piece I've ever done. I don't think I recall
Do
every
you?
piece I've ever done.
I,
No.
I don't remember either.
Yeah.
Do have some favorite piercings, and I of course I have favorite clients. But yeah, there's some specific projects I remember.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. Amazing. For folks that have curiosity that either want to find you guys, learn more, or even just follow, and I would say like just perusing your socials. I mean, there's beautiful artwork that's displayed in there. So if listeners have any interest in just art in general, like come find you. But where would we follow? Where do we find you?
We're on Instagram and TikTok, both at Jane's Tattoo. One word, JANESTATTOO. We're on Facebook, Calamity Jane's Tattoo, CALAMITY JANES.
Instagram,
Your Instagram is?
piercings by Jacintah, JACINTA 8.
And mine is The Bold Will Hold on Instagram.
Awesome. We'll be sure to include all of those in our show notes. And before I let you guys go, I kind of want to just summarize a little bit. Because we got just little tidbits of your journey, of your story. I know there's a lot more depth to, you know, to building who you've become and how you present and show up in the world. And, the realm of tattooing and piercing is such a visceral art. I think I'm just fascinated by it. Um, but if you were to sum up, just kind of like trying to think of the really succinct question here. But for the listeners, we're driving towards craft your life and this idea of craft. So obviously, tattooing, piercing, that's a real craft. We have to apprentice through it. We can't just jump in and grab the tools and start pinning things or drawing things, right? Like there's a real journey and we have to start maybe scrubbing the toilets and kind of work our way up. Um, what would be like your parting words? How would you summarize whether it's really part of your journey into life or just the experience for somebody in the chair, because that's transformational in itself. Um, so it's super open-ended question, but I just want to give a little bit of space and be like, you've got some listeners right now. What's important that you want them to hear and And how might that be like practical application into something that's in your life and maybe for somebody else?
I guess just for me personally, talking about craft, I think of it in what I do, there's a difference between, I mean, sure, art is involved, but tattooing's more of a craft than just a pure art because there's definitely a right way to do it and definitely a wrong way to do it. Whereas in art, yeah, anybody can just get in there and do
There's
art.
no wrong way to do it.
And it's almost
That's
about the
right.
process of doing it. You're doing a different thing versus tattooing is, definitely a craft and, in some ways a trade because there's people have come before and people have gotten it right. And we can look at what they've done and we can emulate their success. And once we've gotten the foundation of what we've done, and oftentimes it takes a long time, there's a lot of success out there that we can emulate to get to the point where we can then go beyond that. There's plenty to learn from other people. It's sort of what I'm
Mhm.
It's the same with
taking from it.
piercings too. It's the same with piercing too. And always finding somebody who you can learn something from and grow. Um, yeah, just finding somewhere you can grow.
Yeah. Thank you for picking up that convoluted question. That was beautiful.
Thinking of what you're looking
Yeah,
down.
what I heard was go find masters, go learn from them, go put in the time.
Pretty
It's
much,
worth
yeah.
it. I love that. Well, like I said, we'll include all of your links in our show notes. For the listener, I encourage to go check out Calamity Jane's shop here in Grand Junction. Check out their socials in the show notes. Follow these two. You two do amazing work,
Thank
just
you.
from what I've seen online. And I'm excited to kind of learn more, follow more, and really appreciate your time today.
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you.
Come see us, 803 North Avenue.
You got it.
Thank you, Matt.
Ladies and gentlemen, please know that I am
All right, my friend.
humbled and honored. I can't believe I'm saying this. We have over 2,400 subscribers on our YouTube channel, and we're just growing. It is amazing. And your likes, your subscribes, and your shares have helped us get here. So let's grow this thing together and just know that you are appreciated.